Well, alrighty. I'm going to start out my day by doing a lot of cooking. I have leeks and potatoes and carrots and all sorts of veggies that I need to use up. So I'm going to make a soup in the slow cooker, and then I'm going to have a lot of dishes to clean up too. So today I'm having this Kavita kombucha, and it's pineapple peach. It's really good. And I got this either at Mark's or at Aldi's. Aldi's carries kombucha too, but it's really good. I used to make my own kombucha. I have all the stuff to make it, and I'll make it again. I made it consistently for a long time, and I do have a video on how I made my kombucha on the channel. If you're interested in seeing that, just put kombucha in the search bar and it should come up. I've also made sourdough bread using my homemade kombucha. That was delicious. I haven't made sourdough starter in a long time, but I also have a video on that. Again, look up sourdough or kombucha and it should pop up. But anyway, cheers. My daughter got me this cute glass for my birthday, I think, or Christmas a while back, and it says, "It's not really drinking alone if the dog is home." But it's really good. So I haven't had kombucha in a long time. I was afraid it was going to upset my stomach, but it seems to be okay. So yeah, I've got a lot of chopping to do. I've got a lot of cleaning up to do in here. I've got potatoes that I want to make a potato leek, mushroom. What else is in there? Some carrot soup. So I'll post that in the coming up video. And I don't know, sometimes it's fun just taking a day and looking to see what you have and what you can use and try and save a little cash. So that's kind of my goal, is I want to save some money, but I also don't want to waste my food. So I'll be doing a cook down for a while. Sometimes it'll just be a meal that I made. Sometimes it'll be a little bit more of a recipe kind of vlog. But I want to see how long I can go before I buy new stuff. Now, I am going to be using up freezer food, some of my favorite things. Those I will replace. But also, I want to kind of cut back a little bit on the produce because it's always too much, You want a variety of produce, but nothing lasts very long. So you kind of have to either freeze it, which kind of defeats the purpose of cooking down the freezer if you're constantly putting things in there, which is what I do. But so I'm going to try and use up as much as I can, but some of the things I will be replacing if I use them up, or some of them I do have a backup. Let's say I like the, it's the Gardein chicken tenders. I can't remember what it's called. It's not the regular chicken tenders. It's like their higher end chicken tenders. But I do like those, and I like to keep those in the freezer. So those, as I use a pack, I will rebuy those. And the way things are, with the food and all that stuff going on, I probably will keep one extra just to tide me over in case Walmart is out or some other store where I shop is out. But I'm not planning on doing any big shopping hauls. I mean, I've kind of been doing little mini hauls for a little bit already. So between the two things, if I need something to go with something so I can use it up, I'll pick something up. But, oh, I have so many peppers. I have, and those, some of them were from my garden from last year, and I just either cut them in strips or in little chunks, and you know, I can make a lot of things with those. I have a ton of tofu that I want to use up, so I don't need to buy any more of that stuff. And you can make a very chicken-like dish using tofu. So if you're trying to stretch your money, you might want to think about maybe having plant-based meals a few times a week, because it is much cheaper. And of course, it's way cheaper if you make your own vegan meats. But you don't even have to do that, you know, but cutting back a little bit on the meat, which is so super expensive now, might save you a couple bucks. So without further ado, let's get cooking. All right, well, today I've been looking this morning online, and I want to use up some of these things that I have hanging around in my fridge, my pantry, all over the place where I have food. So I have these leeks that I bought, last week before, I can't remember. Anyway, I've had them sitting in water. They're rooting, so what I want to do is cut these off and plant these roots outside and see if I can't get some leeks. Then my potatoes have all got these beautiful chits. So what I'm going to do, and I have more in here, I'm going to cut off the part that's got the chits, and the rest of the potatoes I'm going to make into a potato, mushroom, and leek soup. So I'll be using up some of the things that I have. I'm also going to add a couple of carrots because I have carrots too. The recipe doesn't call for carrots, but I'm going to put carrots in there anyway. And this is the mushroom broth I cooked. It's got some oyster mushrooms in there. So trying to get creative with my cooking. And then I'm going to plant these potatoes as well as the roots and see what happens. I mean, you know, worst case scenario, they won't grow, I'll get nothing, or I might get a few potatoes. I also have this celery that I have to do something with, so I'm going to also add a stalk of celery, and I'm going to put it all in my slow cooker, and then I'll have dinner for tonight. And I will put a picture of the recipe coming up. These are the potatoes, the parts of the potatoes that I managed to cut up, and I put 2 carrots in there. So now I'm going to add some of the mushroom broth, and I'm going to cut up the mushrooms in smaller pieces, and those are already cooked, so I'll probably add those later when this is all finished cooking, but I am going to use the broth now. Alright, so here are all the potato chits, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay these out on a newspaper to have them scar over, and there's quite a few in there before I put them in the ground, otherwise they'll rot. I cut the bottoms off the leeks, and like I said, they already have roots, so those are going out in the garden. And now here in my zone 6 is the time to plant leeks and onions and garlic and all those things. And so I'll be doing that in a little while. And then what I do is I always get a bunch of random newspapers from AAA and a community newspaper. So I just put all my scraps if I don't want to freeze them, because I'm not going to do that now because I need the freezer room. So I just wrap this up in the newspaper and then I stick it in my compost, the whole bundle. So that way that can turn into compost, that I can maybe turn into more food, as well as the leeks. So we'll see how they grow. Everything in my garden is an experiment. All right, well, I'm not following the recipe exactly. I'm going to use what I have. So I have a good pat of butter in here that is in the recipe. I'm just using garlic, which is garlic in a jar. I have this mushroom broth that I'm going to add. Now, I did season the mushroom broth with garlic salt before I put it in here. But I'm going to add more water to this, so I'm going to add some of the mushroom powder. I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of thyme. You can add more if you want. Some fresh pepper, and I'm going to also put a good glug of garlic olive oil in there. And then I'm going to cook it until the potatoes and carrots and leeks are all tender. And I'm not sure how long that'll take. I'll cook it on high a couple of hours and check it. And if they're done, well, then I'll be back to finish the soup. And if it's not done yet, then I'll cook it a little longer. So this has leeks, potatoes, carrots, garlic, butter, and the seasonings. And you can put mushroom broth, you can use chicken stock, you can use vegetable stock, whatever you have on hand. I'm just trying to use up what I have, so that's how I'm going to be cooking for quite a while now. All right, so dinner will be ready for tonight. I have a lot of carrots. I have another whole package besides these. So I'm going to make some carrot slaw. I'm going to shred these up, and I'm going to use some bottle dressing on it, and I think I'll put some raisins in with it. Just use your imagination, whatever you think might be good. So this little chopper is really nice. I've had it a long time. It's a Signature Gourmet. I don't even know where I got it. Like I said, I've had it for years. And you can even shred into a bowl if you want to. It's got different accessories, and it has a blade where you can chop things up down there. So I'm going to go ahead and chop up these carrots. And I still have to process this celery. I think I'm going to cut the bottom off. Try and root it. We'll see. And plant that outside too. So just using up what I have in the kitchen, making meals for a couple days, and trying to use up what I have. Okay, I got all the carrots shredded up. Now I did peel them because they aren't, they're just regular carrots. So I just scrubbed them up and peeled them. They're not organic. So I like this little shredder. The only thing that I don't like about it is it's really hard to close and open. Other than that, it does a good job. So I'm going to go ahead and put some dressing on here along with some raisins. And that's something then that I can add to a green salad, or I can add it to a spinach salad, or put on a sandwich. That would be good. So just trying to use up again what I have. Right, to my carrot slaw, I'm going to add some of this Gerard's raspberry dressing. And just let that sit, and then just use the carrot slaw as needed. You can even put it on tacos. It would be good on fish tacos. That would taste really good. Anywhere where you use coleslaw, you can also use this, or just eat it as a salad. You can add some pepitas to this. Like I said, some raisins, whatever you want. But for now, I'm just going to add some of this raspberry dressing. Use any dressing you have, Italian, whatever your favorite dressing is. You can use slaw dressing. So try and be creative with your food, and you won't have much waste. Right, well, my soup is taking longer than I expected to get done. But that's all right. It'll be done by late this evening, and if it's too late, because I do eat an early dinner, then I'll just finish it up tomorrow. So it's my plan to make a lot of meals for one or two in my little slow cooker. Now I'm using the bigger slow cooker. It's not very big. I don't know how many quarts it is, but to make soup, it's really hard to kind of make something in the little slow cooker. So it's my plan to make a lot of meals in the slow cooker by just adding different ingredients together. A vegetable, a starch, maybe a protein like tofu or soy curls or textured vegetable protein, and I can throw all that in with veggie broth, and it doesn't have to be a veggie broth. It can be the powdered vegetable seasoning, or I have mushroom. I got these at the Asian store. I have mushroom seasoning, I have pork seasoning, chicken, and none of them have any meat in them. So by adding all those things, you can make stews and soups and casseroles. You can do all kinds of things. So that's how I'm kind of planning to try and use up my food. And I want to make, instead of just one serving every day, I want to make 2 or 3 servings. But I don't want more than 3 servings. So that's kind of my plan. And what I want to do in order to, like I said, save some money and also not waste food and start using it up. And then I want to have just, sometimes you try new things and sometimes they're good and sometimes not so much. But I want to make sure that I just pare it down a little bit so that I don't have such a huge variety of foods. That's nice to have, but a lot of times then you forget about it. So I want to make sure that I just have a very basic list for when I go shopping of those things that I want to keep on hand and things that I can make a lot of different dishes from. So, it's like if you eat meat, if you keep chicken on hand, maybe you can make ground chicken, you can make, you can make meatballs and meatloaf and just having things around so that I can make delicious basic meals with delicious basic ingredients just by mixing and matching. Now, it's a good thing to have on hand maybe some canned cream of mushroom, cream of celery for me. You can have cream of chicken, just so that you can add those things into your slow cooker along with your other ingredients, whatever it is you want to cook up. Having cornstarch on hand, because sometimes when you cook things in the slow cooker, you get a lot of juice or a lot of broth. And having cornstarch so that you can make a slurry and add it maybe the last half hour or so of the cook time, and it'll thicken up and you'll have a gravy. So anyway, that's my plan. And let me know in the comments below if you have any good ideas and how, if you have a mind to, how you're going to use up the food that you have, what kind of recipes you're going to do, if there's a good cookbook, cooking for one or two, because even if you're vegetarian or vegan, a cookbook like that is very helpful because you can veganize almost anything by just substituting a few ingredients, like maybe you can substitute tofu for chicken, or you can substitute Vital wheat gluten and make your own pulled chicken with that. So there's all kinds of substitutions that you can do. You can use the veggie grounds instead of hamburger, or even if you have a vegetarian cookbook, you can always add meat to it. So the sky's the limit when it comes to cooking. I mean, it's a very forgiving art, and it definitely is an art. So, and if you don't like to cook, you know, cooking in a slow cooker, you can't get any easier than dumping some ingredients in a slow cooker. And you can even bake things in a slow cooker. There's recipes for cakes, and I know, yeah, you can make cakes in there. So it's fun. That's why I like all the appliances, because I can mix and match them. Now I do have an Instapot. If I'm in a hurry, I can throw everything in there instead, which is always nice. But for now, I think I'm going to utilize my slow cooker for a while, because it's still chilly out, so it's still a good time for soups and different things. So, oh, it's also really good for cooking beans. You can cook a lot of beans and lentils and rice. You can even cook pasta in your slow cooker. You just add the ingredients and turn it on, and Bob's your uncle. So, all right, my friends, that's all I have for you today. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. It helps my channel grow. Don't forget to share, and thanks for watching.